You're listening to Feel Good Files with Lexi and Son.
Morning, Lexi.
Good morning, Son. How are you doing?
Wow. Starting to get colder here.
Freezing cold, especially in the mornings and the nights. The kids want to go walking, and I'm just like, no, it's just too cold in the night. Yeah. No, it's just freezing.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I do love it. It's so cozy.
Yes, and it's a wonderful thing, the change of season.
It is. Yeah,
To have that.
it really is.
So we got some really good response to File 4.
Well, 3.
Oh,
You're 2 steps ahead here. Or should I say 1 step ahead?
this is File 4.
This is File 4. But yes, we did get very good feedback in response to File 3. It was a really good one.
Yeah, I think people loved the tips that we posted and what we had to say, which was nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So today we are going to be chatting about what inspires us and how do we keep inspired. I think it's quite an interesting one in the world we live in. We're so busy all the time, and I think we often don't end up motivating ourselves and keeping ourselves inspired because we doing work that we maybe not enjoying, but we're doing that because we need the income. So how do we keep ourselves inspired? I don't know. How do you keep yourself inspired, Son?
Well, for me, I think over the years, I've started realizing, or I've got to a point where I realized that, the days were just crashing one into the other, and that you have to, with intention, really make time to notice stuff.
And the effort, I suppose.
It is. So just not be so goal orientated, but to actually live in minute by minute more.
I think that's so difficult to do that, though.
Yes.
It is so, like, with the rush of life, to just actually be intentional and mindful, to stop and be like, well, this morning I am going to listen to my favorite song, and I am going to read a quote or something just to motivate myself. I think it's really difficult. I mean, I struggle to do that in the mornings, but when I do, I feel so good.
Absolutely. So years ago, I read a quote by Helena Bonham Carter called "Life is Art."
Oh, that's so beautiful.
We're definitely going to post that one, because that talks about everything that you do and everything that you are being part of this museum you're creating about yourself.
That is so stunning. I love that.
So in the mornings when you wake up and you think to yourself, what color am I wearing today? Well, I change my earrings, I look at the colors that I'm wearing, I paint my nails different colors,
and you are your own inspiration in a way.
Yeah, well, you're the actual canvas. So you have to inspire yourself.
Yeah.
The shoes that you're wearing, whatever. It's got nothing to do with finances. It's got to do with intention.
Exactly.
It's making yourself look at things. When you're walking, notice the colors.
Yes.
Notice what's happening in the sky. Notice all the things around you. Notice the music that you hear incidentally.
Yes, coming out of the South African taxis.
Yes, wherever you are.
Yeah.
In the shop.
Yes.
If you're going to whichever shop you go to, what are people saying? What are people listening to? Are you smiling? Are you smiling? Do you smile at people? Do you take the time to fill your day with some pleasantries?
I love that. Are you smiling at people? Because I feel that sometimes when I do just smile or wave at someone while I'm driving past, it makes me feel good, actually. I feel happy. So I love that, actually. I really do.
Yeah, I think there's us. We fill these conversations with a lot of stuff that we've read and felt. Often I'll
Yes.
say I read somewhere. Hopefully, we'll be able to trace back the quotes.
Yeah.
Me and
Yes,
quotes.
yes.
But
But quotes do inspire you. So, I mean,
There are
I think that is one of the best ways to keep inspired is, reading quotes.
And being Italian,
Yeah.
we've got beautiful proverbs
Yes.
that we can actually, we grew up on proverbs. My
Yes.
mom used to sprout them out
Yes.
left, right, and centre. And one of them was the company you keep.
Yes. Yeah.
The company you keep is what you become.
Yeah. You surround yourself with people who also inspire you.
Yes. And are you inspiring them? Do you inspire yourself? I mean, I think one of the things about when you are going through a big change, which relates to file 3,
that quite nicely. Yeah.
Yes, is the fact is that you need to actually, it's in those moments where you might be struggling that you have to be very intentional about what kind of inspiration you're going to be for yourself.
Definitely.
To really put yourself out there and really find everything that you like.
Yes.
Now, when we moved to KZN and I was working with my husband, it was a complete industry change for me. And I was suddenly in a warehouse and
Son in a
warehouse filled with plumbing stuff. Oh my God.
How did you keep yourself inspired through that?
And working with my husband who used to go quick.
Oh,
I mean, you know him, so goodness. And having a very different way of doing things, and then suddenly realizing. I mean, I actually, on the one hand, I was really inspired by this, this admin side of it. But being completely by myself a lot of the time, was something that I actually, even though I'd always worked by myself.
It wasn't like what
it
you're
wasn't,
doing.
Didn't have the set production environment around me.
It's not a creative industry which you weren't used to.
And so what I started doing is every day on our, we had a notebook, which actually we had them, we started in 2017. They still exist. And every day I used to write a quote for the day. Or something.
I love that.
Yes,
something. So it's like your intentions for the day in a way?
Yeah, just something that I'd either read it somewhere and it resonates. So that's what I want to say. What resonates is, whether you think it's God or faith or universe or whatever, your angels, I believe in angels.
Yes.
I'll say, if it resonates for you, then that's something that you must pay attention to.
Exactly. If it also makes you happy, then pay attention to it. Put your energy
or
towards
is it a message that you get?
Yes, yeah.
About something that you might have been asking for help on.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I definitely do believe in that.
Yeah, and that's how my journey journal came out.
Yes. Oh, that's so lovely.
Yes, because I think that one of the things that I really actively encourage is writing.
Yes.
I don't, and people find it very difficult to write.
I find it really difficult to write.
Yeah. So my journey journal was about giving you a few. It wasn't a daily practice. It was just, if you go through the journal, it's just.
Bless you, Ray.
Ray. Our director is making a noise here. The fact of the matter is that you need something just maybe to say to you, own your story. What does that mean to you? You
It's
know,
like
so
a
and then
place
you
where
write.
you can write, like bring your thoughts onto paper.
Yes, so it was a way of actually just guiding some writing practices. But the thing about writing and people feeling very inhibited with actually expressing themselves is because I think that we judge ourselves.
I was about to say that. That's exactly, I actually would feel awkward writing. Like, why am I writing this? Or, you kind of get into your thoughts a bit instead of inspiring yourself.
Yes. I think
which is silly, like completely silly.
Well, I mean, I think that in itself is a topic to write about.
Exactly.
Why do I feel like I can't say what I want to say?
Yeah.
And why am I judging myself?
Yeah. Instead of inspiring myself or uplifting myself.
Yeah. Are you worried that somebody's going to read it?
Probably, yeah. That probably is actually. Which is okay if someone reads it, because maybe I can inspire someone else then.
Well, I've had my journals, people have read one or two, and
I feel like this should be something that we can also share on our socials, your journey journal.
Yeah.
You can take some pics of it.
Yes.
Share it.
Well, the one thing for me that everybody should try and do is the vision board. In the middle of it was a vision board.
I loved your vision board.
Yeah. And in 2019, I feel like I did a vision board. I really, really did in the journal. And I feel that a lot of those things have come to pass.
Yes. Okay.
Because one of the, I'll share it with you one of these days, is one of the sections was I wanted to get, more connected to my friends and then COVID happened.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to,
and then we had to
touch on with to keep how did people keep inspired during COVID?
Yeah. Well, I watched K-dramas, and
of course you did.
And I found a whole online group of friends.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I was my electronic pen pals.
Exactly, but that's so beautiful. And I suppose then you inspired each other. It wasn't just about keeping yourself inspired. You kept yourself and others inspired and going and just chatting.
Lexi,
which I think is so important.
It's nearly 5 years, and we're still
in contact.
Literally, some of the feedback that we've gotten for Feel Good Files are from them.
That is so amazing. How lovely.
I haven't met them, but I feel like I know, that whole group.
Yes.
They're from all over the world.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, during COVID, I was quite a new mom. My son was only a few months old. So I did struggle. Like, this was all new to me. I'm now a new mom. No one to help, no one to, you need a village to raise a child. So I did feel quite lonely. Obviously, I had my husband, but I think it's a little bit different. You also sometimes need that external help. And,
especially your mom.
Yeah, especially my mom. Yeah.
My family.
Exactly.
My son.
It's difficult.
And for your family.
Yes. Anyway, so it was it was quite tough. And I think that's where you almost, when you get put into a situation like that, how do you keep yourself motivated and inspired? And I used to listen to a lot of music. Music for me is like what inspires me. So especially if I'm having a bad day, I put my favorite songs on and I listen to them. And that's what kept me, I think, going during COVID. It's so therapeutic. And I just try to rather enjoy spending time with my husband and my son and seeing him grow, because I knew that time COVID would end, and rather seeing it as a negative, seeing it as a positive. And, rather reading quotes, watching lots of series, spending time together. Also did a little bit of some graphic design, and then did some small gifting that people could gift each other, So that was quite nice. Yeah, people could send to each other, which was nice. And I was able to do some stuff through some of my suppliers. So that was really nice, because I could do some inspirational stuff, a lot of things with quotes on, and that was really lovely.
And other people busy
busy.
too.
Exactly.
Well done on that.
So that
Because
was
our industry, the actual, not so much the plumbing, but the production industry, it was
chaos. I can imagine.
No, so many businesses didn't survive.
No. And
very, very difficult.
Just was exactly. So now those poor people that went through COVID and their businesses didn't survive, it must have been so tough. And how did they keep inspired, and happy and motivated? How do you? It's so tough. So I think it is so important when you are feeling very uninspired and very demotivated to also embrace the small wins, because I think that is what keeps you going and inspired and happy, because you celebrate things that are even minute, even just waking up in the morning and having a smile on your face, or getting yourself up and ready, and like you said, you put different colored earrings on. It change putting the effort into yourself, I think, is even a small one.
Being more mindful.
Yeah.
Really noticing the things that bring you some joy, some comfort, some support.
And it's not about being selfish, because I think that's often what happens is, when you try and keep yourself inspired, you often go, oh, but I'm doing this for myself, so, I can't do it because, what about the people around me? And no, be selfish sometimes if it makes you inspired, if it makes you happy, and you will only become a better person to others if you yourself are inspired and happy.
I'm going to pull out another quote.
Oh, of course you are. Of course you are.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Oh, love that. Love that, Son.
If you don't look after yourself, who's going to?
Exactly.
And I think you have to be more mindful. You have to be more intentional.
Exactly.
So really, and years ago, I read, there was this guy on Instagram, I don't know if he still does it. He had worked out that there's probably the average life is 77 years.
Yes.
And that, if you work it out, is however many days, I forget now. But, if you start looking at your life as minute by minute, then what are you filling it with?
Exactly.
What are you filling it with? If you're your own Pinterest board and you see yourself as that, what are your favorite colors? What lyrics do you like? What do you love eating? What do you love drinking?
And it's actually thinking about those things and putting energy into it.
And that's exactly what life is.
So like you love the color purple. Your nails are purple. It makes you happy. It's inspiring.
I've got my purple ring on.
Exactly. And it's the same as like the food. Think about it. What food do you enjoy? Go and make that for dinner. Go out. Go to your favorite restaurant. Be intentional. And when you are eating your favorite food, enjoy each bite. Don't just quickly, because you need to move on to the next thing where you've got to go bath the kids, or you've got to enjoy the moment. Enjoy sitting down at a table with friends or with family. And instead of thinking, what next do you have to do? Because otherwise you're not going to keep inspired. Woosah.
Yes.
It does go back, sorry, Son, to the file 2 where we spoke about reflecting on yourself and looking at yourself in the mirror. It does, you have to do that to keep yourself motivated and inspired and to be a better person.
And to say, oh, Son.
Exactly.
Not because of anything, but because, I think it was Harvard did this study. They had 2 glasses of water. The one glass, they had people in a room saying horrible things to it the whole time. And then in the other room, they had a glass of water and people praising it.
Yeah.
And in the end, when you tasted the water, it tasted different. Yeah. So remember, we are vibration. We are
a frequency.
What we spoke about before. So what are we emitting? What are we inputting? And if we see if we see ourselves as that,
Yeah.
and being more mindful and intentional about absolutely everything that we're doing,
Yeah.
it starts changing who we are and what we see.
Exactly. And I know it's easier said than done. Like, I know when you really feel like you're in a bad space at work or family life, or, it's maybe easier for us to just speak about happiness and being inspired. But I think what it takes is that when you are feeling in that hole, that black hole, just keep trying to remind yourself, what do I enjoy? What makes me happy? Because in the end, you're going to be the only person that can change that mood to become happy. Yes, someone else can come in and say something to you that makes you happy, but you're the only one that can maintain that.
Yeah.
So you need to completely be intentional about it and be like, yo, I'm really in a bad space. Let me play my favorite song, or let me eat my favorite food, or let me go read a quote that makes me happy. Or if you are a writer like Sonia, go write in your journal and be intentional about it, even if it does take effort, because that's how you keep inspired.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that's what K-dramas do for me. Because I don't like watching what we traditionally in this country call skit and donner. And of course my husband loves those, so we filter some of them out. But it's about actually filling your life with the stuff that you love. It's not toxic positivity.
Yeah.
We both know, and in our own lives have had very difficult things.
Yeah.
Things are, we've navigated all of those things.
Yeah.
And you have to actually go, okay, how am I going to get through today?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the people that I love listening to is Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And years ago she said, gratitude journal.
Mm.
When our nephew died, when our son was 2, that was a really difficult moment.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to be inspired.
Yeah.
And to keep yourself rooted and going when it feels like
the world has stopped.
Yeah.
Almost.
And you're really in a moment where you can't understand anything.
Yeah.
But for a very long time, all I did every day was find 3 things that I was grateful for.
Mm.
And gratitude does change everything.
Yeah.
So, if you're not feeling very positive, or you're not feeling very inspired, or you're not feeling very happy about something, you have to actually then take a step back and go, okay, what am I grateful for?
Mm.
And even if it's just, I woke up this morning.
Yeah. Or that it's raining outside, or there's a rainbow that you saw.
Oh,
the rainbows.
Oh my gosh, last week, right over this area. The 2. Wasn't it magical?
So magical.
I love it.
That to me, I feel is like signs and just what you need on that specific day.
It really was.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that you actually have to actually notice them.
Yes.
Lexi.
Yeah. You do, and take it in and appreciate it. Because I think many people drive past, oh, there's a rainbow. But a rainbow is a beautiful thing. It's magical. It's amazing,
Yes, and we know there's a scientific reason.
Yes, of course there's a scientific reason. But rather take the beauty out of it and let it inspire you.
Yes.
Than think of it scientifically.
And also, to be honest,
although I know my sister's probably laughing at me going, oh, come on, Alexa, there's science to everything.
Of course. But we like to believe it's actually the fairies and the cat.
And that there's a pot of gold at the end.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh gosh. Exactly.
No. I mean, What do you mean there's no unicorns? Of course there are unicorns.
Yeah.
Signs of unicorn.
Anyway, but I think it's so important to just keep yourself, especially when you are in those dark holes, just remind yourself, like you said, the 3 things that you're grateful for, or think about the favorite things that you like. Putting on a song that you love is not a lot of effort, but it will uplift you and it will inspire you and get you through the day. Or drink your favorite drink, if it's hot chocolate or coffee or Aperol Spritz or for us bubbly, have a drink,
I don't mind a Negroni.
Yes, sorry, a Negroni, yes, and I don't mind a margarita, especially a spicy one. So, go and do those things that do make you happy and fill your tank, So yeah,
I always
sort of fill your own life tank. It's not always about your friends or people around you filling it. You need to fill it yourself too. Do those things because that is what will keep you inspired.
Yeah. And don't forget to really notice the little things.
Definitely. I know it's easier said than done to do that, especially with the busyness of life, but just try, especially driving, turn off the radio sometimes and just actually think about things.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just really nice to do that too.
Yeah, and after you've listened to this file, you need to decide what music you're going to listen to. What is your favorite song?
Yes, exactly.
Or
your favorite quote? Sure, I have so many. I love more of those like acoustic guitar kind of songs. But at the moment, I quite like Miles Smith. All of his songs are like my favorites at the moment. So upset I missed him playing at Grand West. Anyway, it's another story. But yes, I like his songs. Yeah, what's your favorite song? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know you got so many.
I've got so many. So
gosh, I've opened a can of worms.
But anything U2.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
anything.
Yeah. Have you seen U2?
Twice.
Already?
Twice.
I've seen once. Beautiful.
Yeah, once here, once in Joburg.
Amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, their concert was inspirational.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of them.
Yeah.
The one at FNB was like
unreal.
It was like witnessing magic.
Yeah.
Also because from a staging point of view, I really appreciated everything.
Yes, obviously the effort that goes into those things.
And just how beautifully planned and executed it was. It's just, just absolutely an art.
Yes, it is. Performing is an art. Anyway, that's why I think songs inspire people, Anyway, but yeah.
Shall we wrap up?
Yes, I think so.
So remember that see yourself as the museum.
Yes.
And what are you filling yourself with?
Yeah. What do you want to exhibit?
Yes. And if you turn around and look at your life, what do you want to see more of?
Yeah.
And then fill it with those things. And don't use finances as an excuse.
Yeah, or worry too much about what other people think. It's what do you want to see yourself as?
Yes. Look at my stockings. On the podcast, you won't be able to see.
But get over to YouTube and you can see it on our YouTube channel.
Everything. Be intentional about who you are and how you present yourself and how you want to see yourself. And what
always remember to see things, see inspiration in the small things.
Perfect. We better wrap it up because Ray needs to get out.
Yes. He's like, time's up.
Time's up.
Finish up. Anyway, don't forget to follow us, like, subscribe, and share, and just always give us some love.
Yes, please.
Any feedback.
Feedback on our channels. Please,
yes.
Some feedback. We're loving all the notes that you're sending us, but it'd be nice if you actually wrote on the channels.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of love.
Bye.
Bye.
Feel Good Files with Lexi and Son.